Welcome to Spectro Tales. I am your hostess, Saif. Now jump to our story. It started with the radio. Tom Grayson, a grizzled farmer in his late 50s, had lived alone on his sprawling Midwest property for years. Ever since his wife passed and his kids moved to the city, the quiet suited him. Nothing but the hum of crickets and the occasional lowing of his cows broke the stillness. That old ham radio in the corner of his kitchen was his only tether to the outside world, a relic he'd tinker with on sleepless nights. But 3 weeks ago, at exactly 3 a.m., it came alive with something new. A faint rhythmic static, crackle, crackle, hiss, like a heartbeat pulsing through the airwaves. At first, he dismissed it as interference, maybe a storm brewing miles away. But night after night, it returned, sharper, louder, until it wasn't just noise anymore. It was whispers. Tom's hands trembled as he turned the dial, trying to tune it out, but the sound clung to him like damp fog. The whispers weren't English. Hell, they didn't even sound human. They slithered through the static, guttural and sharp, curling around his ears like they were speaking just to him. He'd sit there, heart pounding, cold sweat prickling his neck, telling himself it was nothing, but deep down, he knew it wasn't. One night, driven by a mix of fear and restless curiosity, he grabbed his flashlight and followed the signal. The radio's antenna twitched as he moved, the whispers growing louder the closer he got to the barn. His boots crunched on the frost-bitten grass, breath fogging in the chilly October air. The barn loomed ahead, its weathered red paint peeling like flayed skin under the moonlight. He hadn't been out there in weeks, not since the cows started acting odd, standing motionless for hours, heads tilted skyward, or when the chickens began clawing at their own feathers until blood speckled the coop. The barn door groaned as he pushed it open, the beam of his flashlight slicing through the dark. Hay bales cast jagged shadows. The air smelled sour, like something rotting beneath the earth. Then he saw it. A faint pulsing green glow leaked from beneath a pile of hay in the corner. His chest tightened. A deep primal dread seeped into his bones. He dropped to his knees, hands shaking as he clawed through the straw. His fingers brushed against something smooth and warm, like living metal. He yanked it free. A strange, egg-shaped object, no bigger than a football. Its surface was etched with spiraling symbols that seemed to writhe under his gaze. The glow throbbed faster, syncing with the whispers now screaming through the radio still clutched in his other hand. Tom stumbled back, heart hammering so hard he thought it had burst. "What the hell are you?" he rasped, voice cracking. The object didn't answer, but the whispers did. They shifted, forming a pattern, a rhythm, a countdown. He didn't know how he knew, but he felt it, like a ticking clock buried in his skull. 10, 9, 8. Days blurred into a nightmare. The livestock got worse. The cows stood frozen, eyes glassy, still staring at the sky as if waiting for something. The chickens were dead by the third day, their bodies shredded by their own talons. And then came the figures, tall, impossibly thin, limbs bent at unnatural angles, lurking just beyond the tree line. He'd catch glimpses of them from the corner of his eye, watching, waiting. But when he turned, they melted into the dark. Sleep became impossible. Every time he closed his eyes, the whispers filled his head, louder, closer, until he swore they were coming from inside the house. Desperate, he called his son, Jake, in Chicago. "Something's wrong out here," he croaked into the phone, voice raw with exhaustion. I don't know what it is, but it's not right. You gotta come help me." Jake laughed at first. "Dad, you're just tired." But the panic in Tom's voice finally convinced him. He promised to drive down the next day. That night, Tom sat clutching his shotgun, staring at the glowing thing he'd locked inside an old toolbox. The whispers were deafening now, a chorus of alien tongues clawing at his sanity. 5, 4, 3. He must have dozed off, because he woke to silence. The radio was dead. The glow from the toolbox had faded. For a fleeting moment, relief washed over him. Maybe it was over. Then he heard it, a low, resonant hum vibrating through the floorboards. The windows rattled. He staggered outside, shotgun in hand, and froze. The sky was wrong. It split open like torn fabric, revealing a sea of blinding lights. Hundreds, thousands, swirling in a vortex above the barn. The air pulsed with pressure, pressing down on his chest, stealing his breath. The figures were everywhere now, stepping out of the trees. Their featureless faces glinted under the unnatural glow. They didn't move like people. They glided, smooth, silent, closing in. Tom's knees buckled, terror choking him as he raised the shotgun with trembling hands. "Stay back!" he screamed. The figures didn't stop. The lights in the sky spun faster. The barn shook, wood splintering as something massive began to rise from within. A shape too vast, too wrong to comprehend. The whispers roared back. One final word. 0. The last thing Tom saw before the world erupted in light. Was the barn doors blasting open, not revealing a ship, but a gateway? Then, the sky swallowed everything. Him, the farm, nightmare. And then, nothing. When Jake arrived the next morning, the farm was gone. Not burned, not destroyed, just gone. A perfect circle of scorched earth marked where it had stood. The air was thick with a metallic tang. "Dad?" Jake called, voice breaking. Only silence answered. Then, faintly, from the glove box of his truck, his old CB radio crackled to life. Crackle, crackle, hiss, and the whispers began again.